Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. We know what that is. More Good News Wednesday. We are so excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. Just finished a speech here in Orlando. Running a few minutes behind my normal schedule at 8 a.m., but thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your patience. LFG, Mikey, Blaine, hello, everyone. Pinky, good to see you. Nick, welcome. More Good News Wednesdays. Remember, it's not hump day. It's More Good News Day. We're all getting more good news here on Wednesday. Let's get the questions rolling in the question section. And Richa, are you here joining me today? Let me see. Let's see exactly. And it's at Good Food for Good. Where are we? I'm looking for Richa in here. Hey, Zeus, good to see you. Let me take a quick question, then I'll let Richa in. Thank you so much for putting all these questions in. We'll bring them up. Christina, good to see you as well. More Good News Wednesday, everybody. Let's join in. Where is everybody today? I know it started a little bit late. Response could not be shared. Interesting. So, there we go. Who were your favorite athletes growing up? Tony Gwynn, Dan Fouts, Jack Nicklaus. Perfect. Let's pin up David at dmeltzer.com as well. More Good News Wednesday. Reach, are you here? Good to see you. We'll take a few questions. Here we go. They're starting to roll in here. How was the speaking engagement this morning? It was amazing. I am here with an amazing group of people, and we talked about, it was funny because we put a video up with Dirty Heads, and they sing this great song about vacation, and I believe in vacationing every day. And it was interesting, 18 million views, 320,000 likes, but 4.7 thousand dislikes. And I'm thinking to myself, who could ever dislike this completely positive song? It'd be like posting, love. Love what you do, basically, is the general thing that it talks about. And somebody saying, I hate that. You should love what you do. That just shows you, where some people's mindset, heart set, and handset is. And when you talk about handset, I'm talking about people knowing and having open hands to give and receive. So let's just keep taking a while. The questions are rolling in here. Let's keep these going. Welcome. How have your priorities changed in the last 5 years? Well, number one priority has changed in my life the last 5 years, which is take care of myself. I was always prioritizing my family, then activity I got paid for, then my health. And until my wife said, hey, you got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others, it didn't happen in my life. I was not taking care of myself. So for me, I need to receive because I can't give what I don't have. And my happiness and health comes first, so I can give happiness, health, love, light, and lessons to others by learning and doing that myself, by learning the light, the love, and the lessons myself. So that's the biggest lesson and change in my life is I prioritize myself, and I've learned to be radically humble, ask for help, and receive more so I can give more. Great questions, by the way. I thank you. Let's see here. What advice would you give someone just starting out in business, but your family and friends aren't really supportive, but strangers are, let me read the rest of that, aren't really supportive, but strangers are extremely, questions keep coming in, moving on me, are extremely supportive. It sucks when your why doesn't believe in you. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter. People do not have FOPO, the fear of what other people think, especially people that love us. Because remember, just because someone loves us doesn't mean they give a good advice. I've had so many people in my career laugh at me, make fun of me, and scoff at me that were my friends or family. And now they applaud me. So you cannot allow what's outside of you to impact you. You have to appreciate what they're saying, learn from them, but moreover, pray for their happiness and continue to take inventory of your what, your who, your how, your now, and your why. And so doing that will allow you. If you want those 5 daily practices, by the way, just email me. Everyone can do this. David at dmeltzer.com. I will give you the 5 daily practices so that other people don't bug you. The people that love and like you don't bug you. I promise you. Okay. So go ahead and do that. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want my books, ebook, audiobook, or me sign a book and send it to you and pay for it, not a problem. david@dmeltzer.com. Okay. All right. So Ryan is here already. Is that what we're doing? Good. All right. Let's see here. We'll go live with co-founder and CEO of Very Social, a dynamic social media company in Manhattan, doing over $100 million in sales. What's up, Richie Rich?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Give me a little bit of background on the very social real estate agent that you are, and
Yes.
I
So
think you have a question
there's
for me.
yeah. So I'm busy. I have a
I
real
don't, well,
estate.
hold on. We don't like busy here. You're active. Busy means you're unavailable, and I
I
know you're available.
I love being active. So I have a real estate business in New York City. I have a team of 11. Sell high-end apartments, anywhere from 500,000 to 10 million. Really, our sweet spot is like that $1 to $3 million range, and we do things differently.
Yeah.
I feel like I market myself so we stand out, and we create a lot of content, a lot of out-of-the-box content, tons of videos. We're really active on social. So active that I actually started another business called Very Social, where we manage social media accounts for brands and entrepreneurs with a focus of real estate agents. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I'm creating content about real estate, New York City, food, fashion, pretty much like the pillars of my life. I'm vlogging and creating a video once a week. So very active.
I love it. We're using the stage theory, which I teach and mentor so many people to use, which is take what you do well, capture it, modify it, amplify it, and perpetuate it. And that will allow you to actually monetize and share it to exponential amount of people. And you're doing such a great job at it. Do you have a question for me as well?
Yes, I do. So, I'm kind of getting pulled in all sorts of directions of being this entrepreneur. How do I kind of like step away from the things that I probably am so used to doing and are so like kind of they keep the business going, and maybe like kind of like work more on like strategy, like the big picture. Like right now I have 21 people working for me, and I feel like doing a lot of the same things, especially in real estate where I started when I first started.
Yeah, you got to be a student of your calendar, right? And use minimum. So remember, 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. And so if you take and prioritize the activity you have planned, you don't have planned, and your sleep, and utilize and prioritize that time by utilizing minimums. So I, for example, have non-negotiables like a minimum of an hour a day on my health, minimum of 30 minutes with my wife, 30 minutes with my son, 2 minutes with my teenage daughters, 1 minute with my mom, a minimum of 10 minutes studying my calendar, studying what I have planned, what I don't have planned, and
How are
my
you
sleep.
tracking that?
So just through an Outlook calendar. So just by simply having that, and then having a do it now philosophy where the things that I can't do now get put into a folder to reprioritize for either later in the day or the next day. I'm constantly revolving and understanding. Now, I do have one also rule for active people like ourselves. You need to learn to love what you do. And if you can't learn to love something that's important, you got to delegate it. If it's not important but just urgent and you can't delegate it, then you just got to drop it. But you have to have what I call an analysis of the great chain of feeding. You want to prioritize the things that feed you, allow the things that don't to fall away, and fire the things from your life that bleed you. In other words, closed minds, for example. If someone has a closed mind, I either let them fall away or fire them from my life, because it takes so much effort to re-engineer or be around a closed mind than it does an open mind that has an open heart and open hands, and that aggregately they spend together. And if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, the right ideas, with open mind, open hearts, and open hands, most people know about 1,000 people. You're going to, truly accelerate and exponentially grow. And you can't do that if you're not paying attention to and giving intention to the coincidences you want in your life. I call it the mathematical equation of luck. You're not going to get there unless you have that mathematical equation every day looking at what I have planned, what I don't have planned in my sleep. And when you have something prioritized, then simply do it a minimum amount of time a day. That means, people give me shit because I'm like, I spend a minimum of 2 minutes a day with my teenage daughters. That doesn't mean I only spend 2 minutes a day with them. I'd love to spend more, but it means that every day I'm spending time with them and I'm getting exponential value, because 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. So find that consistent, persistent pursuit of what you want. Does that sound fair?
You're like a prophet with like business strategy. Like, I don't know, you were just wrapping that up. It rhymed. It sounded amazing. I think I'm gonna have to rewatch this because it was like a lot and it was really quick, but I get it. I gotta like really work on my calendar and prioritize. Like, you hit it on the nail.
If anybody wants a document so that, I go fast, I can email anyone, david@dmeltzer.com, the student of the calendar template, so you can learn what I'm talking about in the prioritization of it.
Do you type as fast as you talk?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're like,
I just transcode it. So, we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing. Reach out to me if you need any help. I'm happy. And
yeah, no,
yes,
this was
call
amazing.
me
Thank you so much for
they
your
call me the
insight.
Judah Buddha. I'm a ferocious Buddha, a pragmatic Buddha. So I love
I
it,
love it.
man. Thank you so much.
I need that in my life. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Ferocious
Bye.
Buddha, my man. Take care. Thank you,
Bye.
Ryan.
Bye.
Awesome. Another great entrepreneur has the right mindset, heart set, and hand set. We're getting there. It's not what you say, it's what they hear. Thank you, Jesus. Christina, great to see you. We are on fire today. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We are doing our best with what we have here. Let's answer some questions. Guess what today is? More Good News Wednesday. If you woke up today and said, this is hump day, you're making a big mistake. When I woke up, I said, oh, there's going to be more good news. It's Wednesday. And that's exactly what I received, including this IG Live. Just more good news, more good people, more good thoughts, more good pragmatic thoughts and spiritual thoughts blended and aggregated into one. We need to acknowledge things. What does that mean? To acquire the knowledge of them, to raise our awareness, to understand and effectuate what we're doing. David@dmeltzer.com. More good news. Come reach out to me. I'll give it to you. Can we schedule a clubhouse room on significance of trust? Yeah, I would love that. We'll go ahead. Mikey, you're here. Notate that we should do a clubhouse room, but please join me on Mondays because I have Q&A for the day, or Friday morning, 6 a.m. So 3 p.m. on Monday Pacific time, or 6 a.m. on Fridays. And we can talk about in the club room significance of trust, or I can do a theme one. So reach out to me Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific time, or 3 p.m. Email me. We can get it scheduled with you specifically, Drew, if you have any specific questions on that as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for these amazing questions. Here we go. A little bit of time. We'll be joined in a few minutes. I think Margaret's already here. I see her on there, so we'll get her joined. Let's take a few questions in the interim. When do we see AEW trios titles debuting? I don't know, but I can find out. So email me, david@dmeltzer.com. The bigger lesson in here is, thank you, by the way, for allowing me to show my best, because the old self would have tried to BS their way through that. And I've learned a very, very powerful thing. I don't know, but I can find out for you. I am capable of accessing information and learning the lessons. So I will find out when AEW trios titles are going to be debuting. Thank you for the questions. Some things I just don't know, but I can find out. That's the best thing is. All right. How do you adapt your wind down routine when you have an early flight the next day? I don't. Right? I unwind at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And the nice thing about waking up at 4 a.m. Pacific time is there's not many flights that you need to wake up earlier than that for. But if I'm flying internationally and have to, then I go to my adaptable routine, which is making sure non-negotiably during the day when I have an unwinding routine at 9, that 1, a minimum of an hour spent on my health, 2, a minimum of time spent with my family, and then 3, a minimum amount of time is spent being a student of that calendar to figure out, like for example, today, I got my 20 minutes of meditation in, but I haven't done my cardio, my stretching. So I will stretch on the airplane flying home. But I also will do either 20 minutes or 30-minute Peloton when I get home at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so I can recover and get my unwinding routine at 9 p.m. and then finish out the Thursday, Friday week in studio to get ready for filming Office Hours, our new TV show on Bloomberg and Amazon Prime Video. Office Hours has the biggest names: billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers. Unbelievable. We've been doing over 200 episodes digitally. Now it's going big time. So join us if you haven't seen 2 Minute Drill, also available season 2 right now. All right, let's take another question, then we'll get to Margaret. I know Margaret's here. We have her on at 25 after. What's a great finance book for a young business owner, personal business and finance? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Think and Grow Rich? Even Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention, I believe, to be a finance book. But Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad, Poor Dad will be great books for you to understand the basics of financial literacy and how to do business, start a business, grow a business, scale a business. You also can reach out to me. I'll give you all my books, ebook, audiobook, and sign a book and send it to you. Pay for shipping and the book, not a problem. David at dmeltzer.com. Plenty of great books out there. But remember, you need to be able to execute on what you learn. So find a way to reposit the lessons and stories and utilize the lessons and stories to accelerate, grow, and learn. Dave, can you talk about our coaching method? Teach, then drop off. Yeah, sure. So in scaling a business or teaching people, there's 3 steps. 1, they need to shadow you. 2, they need to work with you. 3, you need to shadow them. Once that's done, somebody else can then shadow them, work with them, and then be supervised or shadowed by them. Then again, that continues on. We want to empower others to be happy. Therefore, people have to shadow me, listen to me, work with me, and then allow me to look what they're doing, and we can do that. Our friend is here. Good for, let me put her on real quick, and then I'll take on Margaret. So just real quick, we're going to let Rasha join. Hi.
Hello, hello, David. How are you?
I'm much better now that you're here, Rita.
Thank you for having me. Can you see me fine or is it
Oh,
cutting?
God, I wish people didn't have to see me as fine as we see you because you are lighting up my screen. Yes, we see you perfectly.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Sorry about, I think there was some confusion about the timing and that's why I was late.
Never a
Uh,
problem. Always I thank people for their patience when I screw up. I don't ever say I'm sorry. It's a better energy. But more importantly, I love what you're doing. Good food for good. Um, Obviously aligned with things that I'm involved with. I thought maybe you could give me a little bit of background on the buy one, feed one business model that you have, because it's very inspirational and empowering to me.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Good Food for Good, as the name suggests, it's about good food for you and food for someone else in need. So, Buy One, Feed One is our way of um, categorizing or explaining what food for someone else in need means. It is every time you buy our products, which are all organic, no added sugar, we also donate a meal to feed someone else in need. And we've partnered with local and international food banks, including LA food banks in Chicago, food banks in Canada, and food banks in India to be able to execute that because truly hunger is everywhere, right? And especially what happened with COVID last year, food insecurity has skyrocketed.
And you've not only utilized the channels for distribution and the support from individuals, but a lot of huge corporations as well are supporting what you do and how you do it. A lot of people wonder that have good intentions like yourself. How were you able to capture those relationships and utilize those relationships to help the millions that you do?
To be honest, I think if you're authentic and if you show, like if you lead by example, people see it and they want to become part of it. I felt that was the key, right? We've been doing this from day one. It was not something of an afterthought. Like our brand name itself talks about what it is, even though I got advice from everyone that, hey, give back later, first make money. It's hard to make money in food. Why are you giving back? Why are you cutting down on your profits? I mean, food businesses don't make profit for a very, very long time. That's the reality of things. But to me, it's like any other expense. And to me, it's an essential expense. It's, to me, cost of doing business is we need to take care of people who live around us and humanity just overall.
Yeah, you're a great example of what I teach in frequency, right? I tell people all the time that, all of these, I was discussing this video, very positive video by Dirty Heads about every day's a vacation, if you love your occupation or learn to love your occupation. And yet that video, which had 18 million views, hundreds of thousands of people that like it, had 4,700 people that hate it, right? And had negative comments. And I'm thinking to myself, too many people focus in on 4,700 and they listen to like, why would you do this? Why would you do, just because people haven't done it or don't think you should do it. If it has the right frequency, that authenticity that you have and your company has gains strength. And there's a whole spectrum of people, in this case, the 320,000 of the million that love it. The other 18 million like it. And then there'll always be the few that are like laughing and scoffing and making fun of you or being negative. They always will be there. And too many people allow them to drive their ship instead of strengthening the frequency, broadening the spectrum of the 18 million that like it and make them love it. And then even clarifying what they do, getting better at what they do because they don't quit, because they don't look for what's missing or what they don't have or what other people think. They truly believe in what they do. Have you always had, when you started out, this amazing belief that what you were doing was authentic and right?
David, a little story of why and how I started, right? So I worked in corporate before doing this. I actually worked for a big CPG, food CPG. And I went through a time where I felt what I was doing was not authentic. It was not serving my purpose. I felt I was someone else outside at work than who I was internally. I didn't believe in what I was doing. And I went through a really, really dark time. So I knew at that time if my next move would be something that would let me express who I really am fully. So I can be at work. So that same statement that you make, right? If you love what you do, you would never have to work a day in your life. That's exactly how I feel. People ask me about stress, like, aren't you stressed? You're a mom, you're running a business, you have a family. I'm like, I never feel stressed. I have never been this happier and at peace with myself because I truly am living every day what I believe inside. Every ounce, every little dot in this business is a reflection of who I am. I knew I wanted to. I believe in real food, wholesome food, so created that. I believe that businesses need to do more than just sell, and I created that. So I feel truly good and actually very grateful to be able to do this because I know a lot of people want to do it and might, are not able to do for whichever reasons, financial reasons or whatever reasons. I feel grateful that I'm able to live each day the way I want to live it.
It's amazing because we learn to love what we do. And what you do isn't easy all the time. So it's not about being easy. We don't mind hard, but we have to find the light, the love, and the lessons in our skill sets, our knowledge, and our capabilities. And as you learn that, you went from the darkness to the light by finding the light, the love, and the lessons in what you do. Exemplary showing of what I wrote about in Compassionate Capitalism, that it's okay to make money, to help people, and have fun, and to be happy with what we do, by love what we do. And I encourage everyone, you can't find outside of you what you don't find inside of you. So if you are in darkness right now, anxious, frustrated, angry, depressed, separate in what you're doing, learn to love what you do and then apply that to whatever is aligned or supplementary or synergistic to what you're doing. And Richa, you are absolutely, like I said, the icon and example of making money, helping people, and having fun at Good Food for Good. Where else should people reach out to you?
LinkedIn, of course, Instagram, TikTok, everything is Good Food for Good. Our website, goodfoodforgood.ca. We are available, our products are available all across United States, of course on Amazon, but also at Whole Foods. And Hannaford, they are more like Northeast, Lowe's, Hannaford, Earthware, but Safeway and Whole Foods is what you can find us at. Yeah.
But in for good, and I love it. Please come back and visit me. Everybody reach out at Good Food for Good, goodfoodforgood.ca. Thank you so much. Let's do this again.
Sounds awesome, David. Thank you. Take
Here,
care.
takes one to know. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Amazing woman entrepreneur, right in line with what we teach. All right. We are kicking some butt here. Margaret, thank you for your patience. CEO and founder of Kahawa 1893. Kahawa. I'm such a great Hawaiian. All right. Anyway, Margaret, you're here. Let me find you. I will get you in here real quick. Thank you for your patience, by the way. Hopefully, you can make it easy on me. Can you just give me a quick comment again? I know you're here, Margaret. Thank you for your patience. We are not perfect in matters. Learning on the road how to get everybody where we go. Here we go, going live with Margaret from Kahawa, 1893. And there she is.
Oh, hi. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for your patience. You are also bright and lighten up my screen. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, no, thanks for having me. I actually enjoyed catching the first session. So that was really, really interesting learning about good food. Definitely will be looking into it.
Well, you and I obviously have our Kenyan roots, and I've been with Unstoppable for years as chairman of the Unstoppable Foundation. And, you know, not even joking around, we have organic farms that we're building in 17 different communities that we're working with over in Kenya and the Masai Mara and the Bugani. But you're, you know, somewhere where I live is empowering women farmers and
Yeah.
harvesting coffee. And what you do is just extraordinary. I was hoping that you would talk initially just about the impact, because that's why I got involved in Kenya and empowering women and, you know, changing the cycle of cultural and historical, you know, inequities that existed, and some atrocities, by the way, as well. But I was hoping you could share the impact that you're having by empowering women farmers in Kenya.
Yeah. So Kahawa 1893, and you said it well. It's definitely Hawaiian sounding. So kahawa means coffee in Swahili. That's what we call it. And 1893 is the year that coffee was first commercially grown in Kenya. Of course, coffee is originally from East Africa. So it's native to that area. It grows wild. But we're celebrating the return of coffee to Africa in 1893. And so when I started Kahawa, it was really about the tradition, the rich history, but more in particular in the contemporary sense, a lot of the labor in coffee, about 90% of labor in coffee comes from women. So women do a lot of work at the farm level, taking care of the plants, harvesting, processing, and then the men take over from the trading side. So we see a lot of visibility among men in coffee, but a lot of that work is actually done by women on the farm. So what was interesting was culturally in Kenya, women don't own land. So the land belongs to the men, right? And so the crop is tied to the landowner. So when coffee payments come, they go to the male member of the household. And the women who did all the work end up, you know, not really getting compensated. So when I started Kahawa, I wanted to build in a mechanism that would allow these women to get compensated, but also for them to participate in the coffee value chain, but also to get visibility. And so that's the idea of how do we get more women involved in higher levels? Then how do we get compensated? And a big part of our business model, as you know, is we have a QR code on the back of our bag that you can tip farmers. And that tip goes directly to the Women's Fund to support their different empowerment activities. And currently, they're actually launching one of their biggest initiatives. So the women that we're working with on the ground, they're building something called a maize meal. It's called tinga tinga in Swahili. Because in Kenya we eat ugali, so maize is like the most common processed food. But the women actually have been spending a lot of time doing it manually. And now with the tips that we've gotten, they're at a point where they actually want to invest in machinery to make their life easier. And also it's a, you know, it's a business. They can offer services to other people, employ women. So for me, it's just seeing that impact of women going from, you know, that cycle of poverty to a place where they have enough to invest in their own present, but also in their future as well. So it's how we are using coffee to bring funds back to the women so that the women can really have some sort of self-determination.
It's amazing because, you know, aligned with the sustainability of not just giving, but empowering, you know,
Yes.
working with people. We do the same thing and empowering with our high schools, our women high school, as well as colleges, and all the programs we have. One of the things that, you know, I admire is that a lot of the greatest minds are leaving Africa, and they get educated like you at the greatest schools that we have in the world, things like Oxford and Harvard and, you know, places, and then they stay. And yet,
Yeah.
when you graduated Harvard, you decided to come back and empower Kenyans in Kenya, in the women of Kenya, instead of
Yeah.
big opportunities that I'm sure a Harvard grad gets in America, especially in the CPG space, the coffee space. There's probably hundreds of companies that wanted to hire you. How important was it for you to figure out how to take what you've learned outside of your country and bring it back to exponentially grow and accelerate all that you learned within the context of Kenya and the CPG industry?
Yeah, so for me, so I grew up on a coffee farm. So this is very, very personal. I'm a third generation coffee farmer. I sort of witnessed, experienced life on the farm. So when I decided to sort of essentially give back, coffee was a natural way for me to do that. And I felt like, so when I graduated from Harvard Business School, you went to a traditional career path, Wall Street, which is very traditional way of going a post MBA. And it was while I was actually on Wall Street, and I was in an interesting position where I covered a lot of retail and CPG. So my first encounter with CPG was actually on the investment side. And I was studying all these companies and how they were built, how they were performing. And that kind of drew me to the beginnings of like, oh, how can, you know, where this company source their ingredients, which is in Africa, how can we have impact there? And so for me, it was going all the way to the end of a CPG company that's, you know, publicly listed, to thinking, okay, how are they having impact on the ground? What can I do? What can I use about my knowledge in business to bring a business model that impacts, you know, those people that are the most crucial? Without coffee farmers, we don't have coffee, right? How can we empower them? How can we make sure that they are benefiting from the growth that we are seeing in, you know, specialty coffee has seen such a big explosion. You know, 10 years ago, paying $5 for a cup of coffee was a novelty. And now it's becoming, you know, specialty coffee is becoming more and more valuable in the United States, and people are really getting educated about it. So how can we make sure that the women are still, the women who produce are part of, you know, part of the celebrating this development and growth in demand for specialty coffee? Yeah, so it was definitely sort of growing up there, but also there's a proverb which you may know, an African proverb which you may know about, which is that in Africa you're not raised by your parents, you're raised by the village. So you almost grow up as a village property. And so for me, that's always been my instinct of how do I give back to my village that kind of raised me. And coffee was sort of a natural way to do that.
No, I know that well. In fact, when I turned 50, I threw parties around the world so I could fund 2 community centers, knowing the village philosophy, because I felt as if, as much as we were re-engineering the elders' culture, so that women are empowered and own land, create wealth, and lead like they do here in America, and we're continually fighting so they lead more.
Yeah.
That the community centers could also leverage the cultural wisdom and the dummy tax that the elders that were feeling alienated in the communities now because of technology, because of the advancements of women, to go ahead and re-engage through community center to gain again and ascertain, leverage that knowledge. One other thing real quick, you know, having that great business mind of yours,
Yeah.
I would really do amplifying the QR code tipping system. So
Yeah.
not only it from your coffee brands, but I imagine that there are tons of other brands that if you approach them may be willing as well to institute and execute on your tipping program for what they're selling as well. So just a quick Dave Meltzer idea that I have talking, but you should be so proud of yourself. I'm so proud of you and so grateful for what you're doing. We're, you know, both fighting the same fight, especially there in Kenya.
Yeah.
And one that wants to support Margaret, it's at Kahawa 1893.
Yes.
Also Kahawa 1893.com. Anywhere else they should reach out to you to help?
Instagram, our website, you know, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, same. It's a unique name. So if you Google, if you forget and just Google it, 1893 Coffee, you'll find it. You find us online. And hopefully we'll run into each other in Kenya, David.
I would love that next summer with my whole family again. So I'll be there in July for sure. And I would love to see you before, during, or after anytime. I am, like I said, just so proud to have people in my life like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And let's definitely keep in touch and hope to see you again.
You're
Have a
unstoppable.
nice day. Okay, bye.
That's an amazing entrepreneur. Again, these women are just extraordinary. And we need to develop and empower more and more women because it's the higher power of thinking. Are we good on guests today? So it's more Good News Wednesday. Let me finish up with one last question. How often do your private coaching groups meet? Once a week. So not only do I have free training every single Friday, but I have private groups for networking, one-on-one access to me, ask anything type of opportunity. So reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. Text me at 949-298-2905 if you need anything. The 5 daily practices, my templates to success, my book, ebook, audiobook, and I'll sign a book and send it to you. Enjoy, everybody. Remember, it's always more Good News Wednesday, not the middle of the week, not hump day. There's nothing to get over. We're plateauing and growing here with more good news, sharing more good news, more great ideas with everyone. Remember, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you, everyone.